What you eat in the 2 hours before bedtime could literally determine whether you'll wake up the next morning. Leading cardiologists have discovered that certain foods consumed at night increase the risk of nocturnal cardiac events by up to 74% in people over 65. This silent danger is claiming lives every night, and most seniors have absolutely no idea they're putting themselves at risk with their evening snack choices. Today, I'm going to reveal the 5 most dangerous foods for nighttime consumption after 65, including one directly linked to heart attacks during sleep, and how to replace them with alternatives that promote restorative sleep while protecting your heart. 1. Sodium-rich foods, processed and canned foods. Let's start with one of the most common culprits found in almost every senior's kitchen: high-sodium foods consumed before bedtime. That innocent-looking canned soup, those convenient TV dinners, even that slice of bread with preserved meats might be silently damaging your cardiovascular system while you sleep. Why? Because sodium consumed at night elevates your blood pressure precisely when it should naturally drop during sleep. Your body follows a rhythm where blood pressure should decrease by 10–20% during sleep, a process called nocturnal dipping that's critical for heart health. But when you consume sodium-rich foods before bed, this essential dipping doesn't occur. The American Journal of Hypertension published a groundbreaking study showing that seniors who consumed high-sodium meals within 3 hours of bedtime experienced up to 45% less nocturnal blood pressure dipping compared to those who avoided salt in the evening. This created a perfect storm for cardiovascular events during the most vulnerable hours. Have you ever noticed how your wedding ring feels tighter in the morning or your ankles look puffy after a salty evening meal? That's fluid retention actively straining your heart throughout the night. This excess fluid makes your heart work significantly harder while you sleep, precisely when it should be resting and recovering. Most alarming is that many seniors consume sodium without even realizing it. Those heart-healthy labeled soups can contain over 800 milliliters of sodium per serving. The crackers you enjoy before bed, up to 250 millighrelin per small portion. Even that healthy bread can hide 200 millighrelin per slice. Dr. Elizabeth Barrett, a leading cardiologist at Stanford Medical Center, warns that for adults over 65, nighttime sodium consumption is particularly dangerous because aging kidneys process sodium less efficiently. Instead, try apple slices with a small amount of almond butter, a handful of unsalted nuts or fresh berries as evening alternatives that support heart health rather than damage it. Your heart works hard for you all day. Don't force it to work overtime while you sleep. 2. Full-fat dairy products, yellow cheeses, whole milk. That comforting glass of warm whole milk or that delicious slice of aged cheddar before bed might seem like innocent sleep-promoting treats. But for those over 65, they could be setting the stage for a dangerous night. Full-fat dairy products create a double burden on your aging body during sleep. They're both inflammatory and mucus-producing. When consumed before bedtime, dairy creates thick mucus in your respiratory tract that can significantly compromise your breathing during the crucial deep sleep phases. Can you afford to have your oxygen levels dropping repeatedly throughout the night when your heart is already working harder with age? Research from the Journal of Sleep Medicine reveals a disturbing connection. Consumption of full-fat dairy before bed was associated with a 67% increase in sleep-disordered breathing events in adults over 60. Each of these events represents moments when your brain and heart are being deprived of oxygen. Dr. Michael Brose, a clinical sleep specialist, explains that these micro-awakenings might not be enough to fully wake you, but they prevent your body from achieving the restorative deep sleep necessary for cardiovascular recovery. You might think you've slept 8 hours, but your body hasn't received the quality of rest it desperately needs for repair and regeneration. The inflammatory effect of nighttime dairy consumption is equally concerning. A study from the Journal of Nutrition found that seniors who consumed full-fat dairy products before bedtime showed elevated levels of inflammatory markers the following morning, including C-reactive protein, a direct predictor of heart attack risk. Dr. Samantha Wilson from the Heart Health Institute notes that this inflammation occurs precisely during the vulnerable overnight hours when most heart attacks and strokes happen. Instead of that cheese or ice cream, try a small handful of tart cherries. They contain natural melatonin and anti-inflammatory compounds that support both sleep quality and heart health. Isn't it time to make nighttime choices that protect your heart rather than endanger it? 3. Refined sugar-rich foods, desserts, ice cream. This is the deadly number 3 on our list, the nighttime habit most directly linked to nocturnal heart attacks. That bowl of ice cream, those cookies, or that slice of cake consumed before bedtime creates a perfect storm of cardiac stress during your most vulnerable hours. When you consume refined sugars before sleep, your body experiences dramatic blood glucose and insulin spikes, precisely when your cardiovascular system should be in recovery mode. Have you ever noticed your heart racing or beating irregularly after a sweet nighttime treat? That's not a coincidence. It's your body sending you an urgent warning signal. The Cardiovascular Research Institute published a shocking study demonstrating that adults over 65 who consumed sugar-rich foods within 2 hours of bedtime experienced a 96% increase in nocturnal heart rate variability and a 64% increase in nighttime blood pressure compared to those who avoided evening sweets. These aren't just numbers. They represent your heart working dramatically harder when it should be resting. Dr. Jonathan Carver, a leading preventive cardiologist, explains that this blood sugar roller coaster during sleep creates the precise conditions needed for dangerous cardiac arrhythmias. Is that momentary pleasure worth the risk of not waking up? Most concerning is the connection between evening sugar consumption and blood viscosity during sleep. Research from the University of Chicago Medical Center found that sugar consumption before bed increases blood thickness and platelet stickiness during sleep by up to 37% in seniors, creating ideal conditions for dangerous clot formation. This explains why the peak time for heart attacks is between 2 maybe 5 a.m., especially among adults over 65 who consumed sugary foods before bed. Instead of reaching for sweet treats, try a small apple with a sprinkle of cinnamon, which has been shown to stabilize blood sugar while satisfying sweet cravings. Remember, what you eat in those final hours before sleep isn't just a choice. It's potentially a life or death decision for your aging heart. 4. Fatty red meats, marbled cuts, and processed meats. That juicy steak or burger you enjoy in the evening hours could be placing a dangerous burden on your heart throughout the night. Fatty red meats require intensive, prolonged digestion, up to 8 hours for complete processing. This means your digestive system is working overtime precisely when your body should be in restoration mode. Most critically, this digestive process literally steals oxygen and blood flow from your heart during sleep. Have you ever woken up feeling unusually tired after a heavy meat dinner? That's because your body was working, not resting, throughout the night. The American Heart Association published research demonstrating that adults over 65 who consumed fatty red meat within 3 hours of bedtime experienced up to 73% less cardiovascular recovery during sleep compared to those who avoided evening meat consumption. This reduced recovery creates the perfect conditions for nighttime cardiac events. Dr. Robert Morrison, a cardiothoracic specialist, explains that digesting protein-rich fatty foods at night forces your heart to compete with your digestive system for essential resources. Every night, your body must make a critical choice: digest that steak or properly heal and maintain your heart tissue. Is that evening indulgence worth the strain it places on your aging cardiovascular system? The nighttime stress hormone surge created by evening meat consumption presents another hidden danger. The Journal of Clinical Endocrinology discovered that seniors who consumed fatty red meat before bed experienced cortisol and adrenaline increases of up to 32% during sleep compared to those who ate lighter evening meals. These stress hormones prevent the deep, restorative sleep your heart requires for maintenance and repair. Instead of heavy meats, consider lean protein alternatives like a small portion of baked fish with vegetables, which provides essential nutrients without overwhelming your digestive system. Your nighttime food choices should work with your body's natural rhythm, not against it. 5. Tyramine-rich foods, aged cheeses, fermented meats, red wine. That glass of red wine with aged cheese might seem like a sophisticated way to unwind, but for those over 65, this combination could trigger a dangerous blood pressure crisis during sleep. Tyramine, a compound abundant in fermented and aged foods, is particularly hazardous for seniors when consumed before bedtime. This substance causes sudden, dramatic blood pressure elevations during the vulnerability of sleep. The nighttime tyramine effect is so powerful that it can trigger blood pressure spikes of 30 to 40 points within hours, often occurring during deep sleep when you're completely unaware of the danger unfolding within your cardiovascular system. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension revealed that adults over 65 who consumed tyramine-rich foods before bed were 78% more likely to experience dangerous nocturnal blood pressure surges compared to those who avoided these foods in the evening. Dr. Elizabeth Tannen, hypertension specialist at Mayo Clinic, explains that these sudden pressure spikes create the perfect conditions for strokes and aneurysms during sleep. Have you ever woken up with a pounding headache or feeling of pressure in your chest after enjoying wine and cheese before bed? Your body was literally sending you emergency signals that your blood vessels were under dangerous strain. The risk becomes exponentially greater for seniors taking certain medications. Many common prescriptions for depression, Parkinson's disease, and pain management can interact catastrophically with tyramine when consumed before sleep. A study from the American Journal of Medicine found that this combination increased the risk of hypertensive crisis by 340% during nighttime hours. Instead of aged cheeses and fermented foods, try fresh mozzarella or cottage cheese with fresh fruit, which provides protein and calcium without the tyramine danger. Remember, that sophisticated evening snack might seem harmless, but for your aging cardiovascular system, it could be the trigger that prevents you from seeing tomorrow's sunrise. Every food choice you make in the hours before bedtime could literally be a decision between life and death after 65. Your body is sending clear signals that you might not be recognizing. The slight swelling, the disturbed sleep, the morning fatigue. These aren't just normal signs of aging, they're urgent warnings. But here's the empowering news. Simply avoiding these 5 dangerous nighttime foods can dramatically reduce your risk and allow you to enjoy many more years of healthy, independent living. These small evening adjustments could be the difference between seeing your grandchildren grow up or missing those precious moments. Imagine waking up every morning feeling truly rested, rejuvenated, and grateful for another day of life. This reality is within your reach simply by making smarter choices in the hours before bedtime. You've built a lifetime of memories. Now it's time to protect your future to create even more. If you value your health and longevity, type "strong heart" in the comments below to demonstrate your commitment to smarter nighttime food choices. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate notifications to receive more information that could literally save your life. And stay until the end so YouTube can recommend other vital content we've prepared, especially to protect your health and well-being in the coming years.